Hello and welcome to the Sunday Guardian show by Joyita Basu. I'm the editor of the Sunday Guardian newspaper published from Delhi. Today in my show I'm going to discuss the situation in Pakistan where an assassination attempt was made on Imran Khan. And today I have a special guest with me with whom we are going to, in fact the two of us, we are going to discuss the situation in Pakistan. He is Vineet Malhotra, consulting editor with NewsX and anchor. It is usually me who is the guest on his show. Today he is the guest on my show, some kind of a role reversal. But I'm certain there will be good discussion that will be happening over here. Now you see what is going on in Pakistan, Vineet, is that it seems the common people are very upset, and especially the PTI supporters who are basically Imran Khan's people. They are out on the streets, demonstrating against the army. Now this particular people's revolt, if we can call it, is spreading all across Pakistan. And now what has happened, the Pashtun population, Imran Khan is a Pashtun, has come out on the streets, and in places like Peshawar and all, they are surrounding the army commander's house and all. What do you think is going, which way do you think the situation is headed?
I think let's also give a bit of a background as to why this happened and what happened in the recent past. Imran Khan, all of a sudden, if you remember, he started to antagonize the ISI as well as the army. He made a lot of statements which were not really going down well with the army. You know what happened to one of the former prime ministers who did try to antagonize the ISI and the Pakistani army. I'm talking about Benazir Bhutto. Perhaps Imran Khan, in his confidence that he would perhaps be able to come out some sort of a rebel who could definitely, teach the army a lesson, went about it the wrong way. It was the first time, I think, in response to Imran Khan's, in fact, accusations against the ISI and the army, the first time ever an ISI chief came out and actually held a press conference. I'm talking about Mr. Anjum,
yes,
and spoke as to what Imran Khan was doing and how wrong it was. That to me, Joyita, is some sort of an indication that there is a lot of palpable hatred which is brewing or has been brewing against Imran Khan for a very long time. And as you know, if Pakistan as a country can have a proxy war against India because it knows head to head when it fights with India in a conventional battle, it will be taken to the cleaners. Perhaps that same philosophy and the same modus operandi can also be implemented against those people who dissent or don't agree with the government and the ISI. I think what's happening in Peshawar right now is something which is being pushed and galvanized by Imran Khan. I don't see this ending too well for Imran Khan. He's already gotten into trouble in the last few days, over things which he did as a prime minister. He's been banned by the election commission. There were things that were recovered or not recovered from him which he received as gifts, and they were sold off. So I think this has all been an attempt, Joyita, to salvage his downgraded image lately.
Now, if you look at, when you're talking, you talked about history. You see, the first thing that we need to remember is that what caused this rift. Now, when we are looking at these two figures, actually, Imran and Bajwa, if we look back at what happened maybe by about, say, 2018, Imran came to power. By 2019, what had happened was that Imran wanted his own people, his own man, actually Faiz Hamid, who was the ISI chief at that time, as the army chief instead of Bajwa. He didn't want Bajwa to continue as army chief. He was a little tired of being under the thumb of the army. In fact, if you remember what happened with Nawaz Sharif also, he kind of, when he became prime minister, soon after that he tried to become independent and all, and we all know what happened to his fate. First time he was removed in a coup, the second time he was removed by corruption charges were put on him, and corruption is actually rampant in Pakistan and everybody is corrupt, including Sharif. So anyway, they made an issue out of it and they got rid of him. Similarly, Imran Khan also had to be got rid of primarily by Bajwa, because Imran Khan was trying to become independent. He had started thinking that, because he thought that he was getting a good reception in the West and all, he kind of, all that went to his head perhaps. He forgot who the real bosses of Pakistan are. So, and once he started doing that, now that caused a huge rift, and from that time onwards, Bajwa and Imran fell, their relationship didn't work. And gradually over a period of time, what happened was that things went totally bad. They got a new ISI chief, this Anjum guy that you talked about.
Yeah.
Now, after Anjum, what happened? And then finally, it resulted in the removal of Imran Khan because the army wanted him out. Now, this, interestingly, if you have of course, we remember what had happened was that after he was removed, now there was a lot of public sympathy for him because everything was televised in that no confidence motion. It was a sham of a no confidence motion.
Correct.
So all that, and as a result, there was a public response to the way he kind of appealed to the people. And in spite of his awful track record, what happened with Imran Khan is that he garnered a lot of public sympathy, and a reflection of that, as far as the army is concerned, was sometime in July 2022 in the elections that took place in Punjab. Those were by-elections which his party swept, and now that was a danger sign.
Absolutely, and that's exactly a red alert or a red flag for the army, because anybody who gets popular in Pakistan without the army's stamp is usually targeted, destroyed, or he's rendered in a place and space where he cannot contest elections again, because obviously your popularity could eclipse the thunder that the army is so used to at this particular time. Imran Khan, Joyita, you mentioned that he's been able to garner a lot of public support, but that's always been his MO. He's always sort of tried to move the public on the problems of Pakistan. He's always tried to move the public with what is wrong in Pakistan. But one thing I definitely feel which is going to work against Imran Khan and work for Shahbaz Sharif and perhaps even the army is the fact that Pakistan got removed from the grey list in the FATF, a distinction or a bad distinction which he was not able to in fact come out of during his tenure. I think that in a way has made the army also a little more confident on what Shahbaz Sharif could do. Maybe it's just coincidence, but it's definitely work for the current setup that they have.
No, this is something very interesting. I'll tell you why I find this very interesting. I mean, PTI, when it comes to Imran Khan's party, they say we are the ones who did the groundwork for Pakistan's removal from the FATF list.
Just like the Congress says that they did the groundwork for a number of policies that were launched by this government.
So the thing is similar to that. Now the thing is that when you are talking about FATF grey list, you see there's one other way of seeing it. At the same time, Imran Khan has been constantly screaming from the top of wherever he could do it, basically saying that the US was responsible for his removal. Now why, even if we take him at his face value, why would the US be responsible for removing him? The only thing I can think of is that the army had cut a deal with the US. Okay, that we remove him. And the thing is that he is the one who is blocking the implementation of, say, the austerity measures that IMF and all they wanted Pakistan to implement. And because you see, they were you remember the number of bailouts that Pakistan was getting.
Sure.
So all that thing, they were telling the Americans that this is the guy who is the impediment to implementing all those measures and all. You get him removed, when the actual reason is the problem is the army doesn't trust him, or rather Bajwa and company, Bajwa and Bajwa's coterie, they do not trust him. I think that was the main reason. So the US, considering the US only listens to the army, Pakistan army, the reason why they have given them this F-16 maintenance package for $450 million and all. So the US listened to him, and anyway Imran Khan was removed. I think that is the primary reason why Imran Khan was removed. And when it comes to Imran Khan saying the US wanted him gone, perhaps this is one of the reasons. Now this is, if I can mention one more point, this is ironic given the fact that the army had got him quote unquote selected. He was never elected.
Of course, he was the Manchurian candidate.
He was. It was a rigged election.
He was planted there.
He was planted there. So you see, the thing is that the reason why he had been selected was that he could go to the West. He was somebody who would be acceptable to the West.
Would enhance the image of Pakistan as a distant and a bucolic nation. But obviously Imran Khan, really did not make much of an impact. But the fact of the matter is, what happens now, Joyita? There is this palpable feeling in Pakistan, in areas where Imran Khan has been gaining popular support, is that a mutiny is in the works against the army. This has happened in the past as well. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was
Yes.
one of those guys who tried it. He was hanged,
Right.
and after that, obviously, a Zia-ul Haq, who died in a plane crash, or was killed in a plane crash, basically introduced the concept of Sharia or Quran in the army. And that was the point when the army became all powerful, and this religious element of running Pakistan through the army, which follows the tenets of Islam, came about. And they have not been able to extricate that from the army now. Do you think it'll be easy for somebody like an Imran Khan, or for that matter anyone, to rebel against the army? But there have been examples in the past as well. If you look at Idi Amin, if you look at Gaddafi, all of these dictators were ousted, and there was a point in time we did not think that they will be ostracized or thrown out of power.
Well, this is a very interesting, because you see, if I don't see that happening, okay, because Pakistan military is too well entrenched, they are too powerful, they control all the instruments of state, they control everything that is there in Pakistan. There is no, but at the same
They
time,
even control the commercial contracts.
yes, everything. Think of the Fauji Foundation. Even as cement, bag of cement cannot be manufactured without the Pakistan army being actually involved in it. Now, the thing is, now, whether Imran Khan can do it or not, I find it very ironic that Imran Khan is a man, who is infamous for his bad governance. Number one, it was during his time, if you remember, those inflation was hitting him. It went through the roof, and it was like, I think, a 1 kg of atta flour was costing something around, the price to around rupees 500, Pakistani rupees 500, and there were major trouble in, say, Gilgit-Baltistan and all these areas, where they started screaming against him, and pro-India slogans they were raising in Gilgit-Baltistan in particular. So Imran Khan had a horrid track record as governance record, and now
He's a cricketer, obviously,
yes,
and a playboy.
yeah, I call him fading charm of an aging playboy. All right, but let's not go there. The fact of the matter is that what had happened was that at that time he kind of went, from there, his reputation was mud. But from there, as a result of the events that have taken place, transpired, he now has suddenly popular sympathy, but that does not take away from the fact that he is very close to the fundamentalist extremist right, that his
Including the Taliban.
Including the Taliban. In fact, he was praising the Taliban some time back. The reason why section of the Pashtuns turned against him, saying we should not be compared with those Pashtun those are the terrorists, and we are the proper Pashtuns. It was during Imran's time that the Pashtun movement against the army and the government in Islamabad, that was taking place.
But you think getting shot at was perhaps the best thing that has happened to him, after he was thrown out as the Prime Minister? Because remember, Ronald Reagan, after getting shot, said that that's the best thing that ever happened to me, because he was re-elected, his popularity, his acceptance shot through the roof.
No, but that you're talking
No pun
about
intended.
That was the US. This is Pakistan. He has been
But it's
disqualified.
sympathy, right?
No, sympathy is fine, but in this case, when there is sympathy, what can they do? There can be street unrest, but beyond that, the army is in control. Unless and until the army is okay with Imran Khan coming back, unless and until Imran has struck a deal with the army, he will not be back.
But do you think if the army really wanted him dead, would they have any problem?
Well, I do not want to go into any conspiracy theories, but the fact of the matter is that it's also being said that this whole thing is stage managed, this particular incident that has taken place. But the fact now, I think what we need to also talk about is the number one. This there is this buzz in the West. This will result in this street unrest will result in the nuclear weapons falling in the hands of
the
jihadis, and that is the sole reason. I think the West needs to realize that is the sole reason why the army is in power. That is the sole reason why the US also, so that is the primary reason, I would say, not the sole, because there are other reasons also, Afghanistan and all. That is the primary reason why the US supports the army generals, because they think otherwise, if it is the army that kind of keeps Pakistan together, else what is going to happen is that the nukes are going into the hands of the jihadis. I think this is something that the West needs to come out of, because this is causing a lot of problem for India also. Okay, now if I can quickly mention before we end, the thing is, you see the India angle. Now I am suddenly seeing on social media a lot of push is being given towards raise funds for Imran Khan and all that. While it is all good in terms of, you should be supporting who is now coming across as a rebel, who is suddenly praising India's quote unquote independent foreign policy and all that. Let's not forget, when Imran was Prime Minister, he had the most horrible things to say about India.
Absolutely. Including Prime Minister Modi.
Including Prime Minister Modi, RSS, everything, India's governance setup, everything. He was comparing us with the Nazis and what not.
Correct.
Okay.
Especially Mohan Bhagwat.
Yes, everybody. He was kind of doing all that. So number one, there's no reason to believe that he has changed. Now, so
times have changed, and that's why he's changed.
He's saying that he has changed. I am not even saying that he has changed. I would say that he's saying that he has changed, but we do not. But we have to always remember, there is very little chance of this street revolution or whatever we call it, this unrest. That is going on. That is not likely to unseat the army. That is not likely to, unless and until, say for example, the army is always the boss. So until and unless Imran has been able to cut a deal, he is not coming back. If he comes back, that means he has been able to cut a deal. And what is one part of that deal? One part will always be an enemy of India.
As long as you hate India, we'll support you.
Yeah. And you know why the army has to, hate India?
Because that's how they get their money.
That's what they get their money. That is how they sustain their defense procurement and the defense budget that they have. So that is what. So basically for us, we can just sit and wait and watch.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming to the show. And thank you viewers for watching. Until the next time.